everybody, I'm InTheLittleWood, also known as Martin. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing some more Fortnite, but we're doing a slightly different kind of video. So on the screen right now, you've got some gameplay to keep your eyes all busy whilst you listen to my ramblings. It's on 50/50 V2, which oddly got added back in the last couple of days, which seemed a little bit odd. I thought maybe that would detract from, you know, the Thanos mode, but hey, who knows. So today we're talking about the possibility of Fortnite coming to a brand new platform, one that I personally would absolutely love it to, because not only could I play it at home, but I could also then play it in a reasonable way on something like a train, a plane, wherever. As long as I've got Wi-Fi or a hotspot, I could play on the Nintendo Switch. So I just want to start off by saying that this is purely speculative at this point, although we've got a couple of relatively decent sources in regards to people that consistently leak information about both Epic Games and also Nintendo products as well. And then on top of that, there has also been a new thing, almost like a bit of a slip-up, I guess, today, on a particular job listing. So let's talk about all of this stuff first, and then we'll move on to how I feel like the Nintendo Switch could fare with Fortnite on its platform, and any adjustments they could make to suit the players on that console. So it all started earlier on today when a company known as InGalaxy had a couple of brand new job listings on their website. They were looking for a director of game design, another director of game design. These were for two separate locations as well. The first one was Chicago, the second one was in Orlando. And then there was a third position, also based in Chicago, which was for a director of IT. But what's interesting is the first paragraph of this listing. So as you can imagine, they've seen the response to this and all the excitement, and they've gone ahead and changed the wording of the post and gave a very half-assed response, as if to say, like, no, that's totally not what that meant. But let me read it for you word for word, and you can basically surmise for yourself what you reckon. So it says, InGalaxy Studios is a well-established independent game developer who has partnered with titans of our industry to ship more high-caliber games than any other indie developer. Our best-known creative works are the critically acclaimed Killer Instinct and Dive Kick, which are complemented by our technically superb Fortnite and Skyrim Switch ports. And then of course the line changes depending on what they want to say. It's, we are looking for an inspiring self-starter to join the InGalaxy family and embrace the leadership role of Director of Game Design. So with the way that this post is written, I think there's very little room for that to be misunderstood. So one of the developers from InGalaxy Studios did come out earlier on the forums and say, oh, don't read too much into it, we're just talking about the mobile version of Fortnite, which yes, they have had a hand in, but I don't know, dude, it seems very specifically worded. And the fact that they've changed it since, even though they've put out that little, like, you know, PSA, something's definitely going on here. And actually, the page that I'm reading this post off of right now, the person that got the screenshot of it, is actually the same person who has managed to leak loads of stuff over the past year or so, but specifically back in March, they actually revealed a load of stuff that was going to be happening in the upcoming Nintendo Direct, and they nailed it point for point for point. So the fact that they've jumped on this makes me think that they must be quite confident about it. So that's all we have to go on for now, but there have been a few other sources that have been teasing at the idea that apparently Fortnite will be coming to the Switch, and it'll be an announcement at E3, and they're going to do it in a similar fashion to how they would normally go, like, oh, and it's available to play right now. So I've got everything crossed that later on this summer, I'm going to be able to have this on a train, hotspot with my mobile phone, and be able to play some Fortnite whilst on the go. I might have garbage ping, but I'm sure I'm still going to have a fun time. The fact this isn't probably going to come out for a couple of months at the earliest has me a little bit sad, but at the same time as that, I'm more than happy to wait it out, because at the moment, I don't particularly enjoy playing on mobile. I don't own an iPhone, so I'm not able to play it on one of those. I don't want to buy like an iPod Touch or anything that sort of realm, and all I have is my iPad Pro, and that thing is humongous. It's so difficult to play on. And I've not seen any kind of postings recently from Epic saying that they're going to allow us to move the control scheme around the screen, you know, to make it a little bit easier for people that have larger devices as opposed to smaller ones, where they can reasonably reach all the controls with just their thumbs. Dudes, I've even gone to the length of buying adapters that I can bang into the bottom of the iPad, and then like USB converters so I can run like a PlayStation 4 controller into the iPad, but then where it's got no controller support, that's not possible, and all of the third-party applications that do sort of like the overlays, they don't work very well. So I think there's a really big gap in the market for this thing to come along and have a real impact. And let me just like set up and knock down a couple of things that people have been saying about Fortnite and why it couldn't possibly come to the Switch, and a lot of them are kind of ridiculous. First and foremost, people don't think the platform is powerful enough to play the game. Have you seen games like Breath of the Wild? Have you seen games like Doom? There are so many games that are quite high intensity, far render distances. I think this game is going to be more than capable of coming on here, and if it's a worry about maybe like the internet play side of things and having that many players in a singular lobby, yes, I know that most of the first-party Nintendo titles don't have the largest multiplayer spaces, but there's already been another game announced for the Nintendo Switch that's coming up, which is actually a Battle Royale game. And if I'm completely honest, I'm not sure I even want to really try that game. It's a game called Crazy Justice, and so far from the gameplay footage, I've not been particularly impressed. So let's talk about some of the differences that Nintendo might want to bring to the table in regards to this platform and with Fortnite. First and foremost, as much as the Xbox One controller and the PlayStation 4 controller have gyroscopes, there are very few games on those platforms that actually utilize them, whereas the Nintendo audience are much more adept and much more familiar with using gyroscope controls. And can you imagine using that, whether it be the whole console or using the gentle tilt of the right controller to aim up your shots for something like sniping? Beyond that, I actually feel like the Joy-Con controllers lend themselves very nicely to anybody that would want to do some building inside of Fortnite at a rapid pace without having to sacrifice their shoulder buttons like you have to do on console if you move over to Builder Pro. Because bear in mind, on the left controller, you've got yourselves the D-pad, which I think is actually very nicely positioned. And given the size of the controller as well, it's actually not that difficult to reach, you know, both of them at the same time for some quick swaps. And probably the most important thing that I want to point out is the fact that this controller has 2 additional buttons on the inside. So if you were holding them up like this, imagine having staircase, walls, floor, pyramid, all on your SL and SR buttons. I just think that would open up a whole new realm. So of course, one of the major questions from the get-go is, will Fortnite be cross-platform when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, or if it comes to the Nintendo Switch, should I say? And the answer would be yes. They've already demonstrated that they're more than capable of having the Nintendo Switch interface with other platforms, particularly via the game Rocket League. That game you can play literally against any other platform and it's completely fine. Now, what's interesting about the Rocket League aspect of things is that Rocket League does actually have Nintendo-specific cosmetics inside of the game. And if you play against other players on other platforms, they don't actually see them, but you do. So that has me going wild with excitement at the idea of, I don't know, playing as Link and having the proper glider from Breath of the Wild, because the glider already kind of resembles it anyway. I think that would be so cool. And then imagine something like, I don't know, the Rex skin being styled to look like Yoshi, because it's not 2 worlds apart already. Or this one would be really cool, actually. Imagine the Leviathan skin. Instead of that little creepy little blue fish inside of it, there was a Cheep Cheep inside of there instead. I'd buy it. But based on all of the chit-chat and the rumours that we've had so far, we've been told to take it with a teeny tiny pinch of salt and just not get too excited about it, because chances are a lot of these cosmetics will more likely end up in the Save the World portion of the game rather than the Battle Royale one. And speaking of those 2 versions as well, by the way, there were also discussions about potentially Save the World being available to play offline, which would be fantastic, because that's something you could play on the move whilst you're on a train, in a car, wherever you are. And then the Battle Royale aspect of the game would be the docked home experience. So we're a fair way into the video now, and obviously everything so far has been rumours, but we haven't actually discussed whether Epic at any point in time have ever acknowledged the Switch, replied to any questions about the Switch, anything in that sort of realm. And there is one huge tweet that we can go off of. And for this, we have the wonderful Donald Mustard to thank, and that is a real name, not fake, not joking, no cappers in the chat. This is a real guy. He's the World Creative Director for Epic Games, so the various titles beneath that, things like Fortnite, Battle Breakers, Robot Recall, all of those he has a little bit of a say in. And he had a tweet a little while back which said, "I play Fortnite on the PC but would love to play it on my Switch. Are you interested in making it for the Nintendo platform?" And he replied saying, yes I am. Hopefully we do that at some point. So they're open to it, so let's get it going. Even if it was just for the Save the World portion, I think that is how Nintendo could go about making their money back from allowing the game to be on their platform. And that segues me very nicely onto the discussion of cost. Now, I know that seems a little bit strange, but hear me out on this. We all know that Fortnite is completely free to play, and then if you want to, you can purchase V-Bucks, get yourself skins, gliders, whatever else you want to get. But Nintendo do things a little bit differently to everybody else, as we all know by now. They often don't do anything for free, do they? Because if you look at the eShop, I can never really seem to find anything that's actually free to play, and on top of that, if it's a demo, then it usually has a limited number of times that you can play that demo. They seem a little bit stingy on that front. But at the same time as that, I feel like maybe Epic would just say thanks but no thanks if they wanted to charge even just like £1 for somebody to get access to Fortnite on that platform. I think they would just say, no, you know what, we're making 5 milli off the iOS version already, we don't need you. So I think that's where we're going to leave it for today, everybody. Again, like I said at the start of the video, this is all completely rumour, hearsay, chit-chat, everything like that, so please don't take this as any kind of factual piece. It's just that these people are relatively trusted, they've been right before, so there's chances that they're going to be right again. And I'm going to hand a question over to you guys. Do you think the Nintendo Switch would be a good home for Fortnite? And I want you guys to get creative. What Nintendo IPs or characters would you like to see in Fortnite, and how would you implement them? Because I mean, we've even just got on the paint roller this week, which kind of gives me those real Splatoon vibes, even with the colours that they chose to go for. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you checked it out this far. Be sure to check out all my other Fortnite videos. That'll be on your screen in just a moment, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.